With the Chicago Bulls only having one roster slot open on the team, I think it's a good time to talk about Bryson Graham's offseason in its totality. What was good for it? What was bad for it? And if he absolutely crushed it. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Boys podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down for today's daily episode. So if you're tuned in, like what you're listening to today, don't freeload. Do the simple two-step process. Hit the like button and subscribe. It's the easiest way to support the channel. And I know some of y'all be watching and ain't even subscribed. Don't cheat us out of us some easy support. Do the right thing. But nonetheless, let's get it to the content. Now, a lot of things has happened over the last few months that has myself very, very excited. And I know a lot of you all are very, very excited. I know there are some people that have, their issues, or they feel like there was some missteps or whatever. The Chicago Bulls could have did a little bit more, pivoted in a direction that they best see fit. But that was not the way that Bryson Graham went. But let's all talk about it in its totality. But before I get into it, I want to ask you all a legit question. What grade at the moment in time today, what grade do you give Bryson Graham as the lead guy for the Chicago Bulls organization to lead this rebuild? Do you give him an A, B, C, D, E, F, or Z? Let me know. I'm going to go out there and give Bryson Graham a solid A myself, but I'm interested to know what you all are thinking, so drop it in the comment box below. But I want to go back. Bryson Graham gets hired. Bryson Graham brings in AC Law and Mervis, and then the real work had to start to get done. When it came, and we're going to start right here with the coach, I think Bryson Graham, he knocked the coaching hiring out of the park. You get a guy in Tiago Splitter who has the experience of being a head coach in the midst of turmoil and challenges, and to get him in Chicago, see a situation to where you're not really familiar with the guy, and the expectation was we need somebody to lead this young talented team. And to get a guy like Tiago Splitter in Chicago after the success that he had over there in Portland, you gotta go out there and give us some credit and say, hey man, that's a good job on your part. Shout out to you. Now, you get Tiago Splitter, and then we move on to the draft prep, and you ultimately, through all of this, get handed the number 4th pick and the 15th pick, thanks to Tiago Splitter. So a little extra cherry on the top. And then in the draft, you go out there, you draft the obvious selection in Caleb Wilson, and then you draft Dalen Swain, who some Bulls fans felt like the draft selectee should have been Cam Carr. But most of us, if we went back and we sat down and we looked at and listened to Bryson Graham on his reasoning for drafting Dalen Swain, and you look at the actual basketball stuff, you say, okay, I like the draft. You get an A for the draft. Some people will say it is not an A draft, Bobby. And I know some people will type that down below. But guess what? I don't give a damn about those second round picks. The man that's in charge said he ain't like nobody. So some people will say, well, why didn't he package some of those second rounders and then just trade up? I don't know, but he ain't like nobody. And then some people on the opposite side will say, so you just going to trade the second rounders for cash? Look, whether they was taking another player or getting the cash, it's not affecting me. It's not affecting me. I'm going to just keep it a buck with you. The Bulls getting more money doesn't affect me. It doesn't. Just make sure the players that's going to be on the team takes us to a new level. And don't throw out these crazy ass outliers. Joker was a second round pick. Draymond Green was a second round pick. Yeah, and there's a lot of other second round picks that fall off to the wayside that you can't bring up. So let's call a spade a spade. I don't give a damn about the second round picks. If you care so much about the second round picks, that's on you. That's your opinion. But I'm just saying, my guy, Bryson, he said he ain't like nobody. What else you want me to do? He don't like nobody. And if we doing, I seen somebody try to go in the chat and throw Henry Visar. Why didn't they go after Visar? He was right there. Remember the important information that was out during the draft. Visar's representation was guiding Visar to Atlanta, where he ended up. They were calling people up saying, don't draft my player. Don't draft my player. He wants to go where he's going to get a contract. And that he got down in Atlanta. So then the draft concludes. We meet the two young fellas. And then the Nick Claxton trade happens. And the Nick Claxton trade happens. And a lot of people was like, why are we getting a declining player? Look, whether the player is declining or not, you got them for nothing. And in the great words of Pat the designer, why are you complaining for getting somebody for nothing that's going to give you something? You know what I'm saying? He's going to give you something. He's not going to continue to decline, or at least I don't hope that's the case. I'll be honest with that. But you get involved in a trade for a center that can go out there and defend really well, that's going to bring some athleticism, and bring a guy that's going to be able to play the pick and roll well and roll to the basket well with a Josh Giddey, who Bryson Graham crapped on a lot of Josh Giddey haters by saying he can shed a sugar. That ain't the terminology I would have used, but he can shed a sugar. So he can shed a sugar. And then we get to free agency, and I know this is pretty. I'm just follow me, y'all. I know some people attention spans, this new age shit, y'all can't hold on. Just follow me. We going through the events so we can bring it, so we can wrap it a bow on this. You know what I'm saying? So you made the Nick Claxton trade, and then the expectations before free agency broke off, a lot of Bulls fans felt like we was just gonna go out there and spend a lot of money on a lot of players. Nah, Bryson Graham said, you know what, Zach Collins, here you go, a deal. Norman Powell, we want you. We target them, and they got him. All in all, we're here today now. I'm gonna give Bryson Graham an A. I'm giving Bryson Graham an A for his first offseason as the Chicago Bulls lead dog. Now, obviously, we're gonna have to see the basketball games. Obviously, we're going to be able to critique the things that on the basketball court that we're seeing. And then there's obviously going to be another offseason after this one. But as of right now, all things considered, you're getting an A. You're getting an A, because not only did you go out there and get one of the best coaches on the market for young, talented teams to help them develop, you get two good prospects in this draft. You went out there, you restructured money, not restructure money. You gave out deals that favors the team. You re-upped on Zach Collins with a team option. Norman Powell is coming to Chicago with a team option. This is smart GMing. This is, we have some leverage to remain flexible. What's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. Now you have a potential starting five that's going to be lengthy, athletic, and then when these young kids are going to be trying to develop, you have somebody you can lean on who has good character skills in a Norman Powell. And if the team is struggling, you know he's a bucket if we talking about the basketball. Let's talk about the basketball. Stop. Look, I understand there's some people that's going to practice ageism and talk about he 33 years old. Like in the basketball world, yeah, that's an old guy, but he's still a young guy. He's still a young man. You know what I'm saying? Only a couple years older than me. We good. And he's going to be able to provide this young team with stability. You don't want a young basketball team just to be out there willy-nilly. He's going to be able to help stabilize this, provide some veteran leadership, be able to do some things on the basketball court. And he's not going to take away from the development of Caleb Wilson and Montes Buzelis. I don't believe it. If he does, we'll call it out. But I absolutely do not believe Norman Powell is going to screw up the development of these young guys. I actually think he's going to help them a lot. This is a former champion. This is a guy that just played down there and he culture. We need culture in Chicago. It's just not about going to get a bunch of young guys and just letting them go be free. They need some veteran leadership alongside the tutelage and the coaching of the coaching staff as well. And there's a lot of things that transpire in these locker rooms, and you need an adult in the room to shut these things down. So we have those things on the roster that makes a lot of sense. And Norman Powell and Zach Collins allowed the Chicago Bulls to be flexible because these technically could be considered expiring contracts because that team will have a team option to decline the contract. So it keeps the Chicago Bulls competitive, which we all want to be because with the new terms, you're not going to be trying to tank. So for all my tank monsters, you don't have to worry about tanking anymore. Now we can really be mid, like most of us delusional Chicago Bulls fans have always been. So my delusion has went astronomical levels for being mid. And then you can still reap the benefits and wait. I think that a lot of people get caught up in trying to accelerate the rebuild. And I brought up examples last year when we thought we was going to be embracing the rebuild, and it went totally off the rails. I talked about Jimmy Butler getting handed the keys, and then the front office said, you know what, Jimmy, we know you got the keys, but we're going to bring you over the old ass Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo. And then nothing really happened good for Chicago Bulls fans for us. Only thing we can remember is that playoff series and Rondo breaking his hand and we're like, oh man, if he would have stayed healthy, we would have been good. Nah, it's okay, man. It sucks. That's just what it is. And then we look at the Zach LaVine stuff. We're supposed to be taking our time. Mid-season trade, here comes Nikola Vucevic. So I don't understand why we can't have just a little bit of patience, but I think this was a well-calculated offseason for Bryson Graham on all aspects. I don't think that it's anything less than an A. I think if somebody jumps in here and say, at best it's a C+, I think you're being delusional. And I think Bryson Graham absolutely crushed this offseason. You're going to have guys, the starting five we already talked about with Giddey, Norman Powell, Montes, Caleb Wilson, Nick Claxton. Look at the players that's going to be available in the rotation for the Chicago Bulls. Trey Jones, Jalen Smith, Dalen Swain, Zach Collins going to come in and provide you with some big man depth. And I think that we need to be looking at all these guys that's on this team and saying, you know what? It's a cool little team. We'll see. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it's only year one. You can't fix everything in year one. Allow this guy to work his and do his damn job, and we'll see. We'll see if he's selling us wolf tickets because we know that shooting is one of those things that we're going to be looking at probably for the entire season unless something happens at the trade deadline or miraculously the Bulls want to get in the business of something tomorrow. But once the next offseason rolls around and guys start to take some steps forward, we got some addressing to do. That's it. It's not going to happen. The Chicago Bulls are not going to win the fucking NBA championship in 2027. It's just not happening. Let's work with the parts that we got. There are some good parts that we have. Let's continue to build out the body as we move on. I know there are some older Bulls fans that don't have that type of patience. I get it, but hey, most of you mofos got 6 chips to see. I ain't seen nothing that I can vividly remember. You know what I'm saying? So it's over with. This roster now has balance. The books have flexibility to move off of players. We are in a solid situation right now. Let's charge forward. Stop bitching about everything or making up 2K trades that don't make sense. Let's trust the guy. Let's see what the guy can do. We'll have that trust with him as long as once he gives us a reason not to trust him, we'll call him out on it. But it's an A+ off season, a solid A off season for me. And I want to know y'all thoughts. We mapped it all out. You get the coach you want. You get the players you want. You get the free agent you want. What more do you want? What more do you want? Y'all let me know down below why my son he going crazy up there on Fortnite. But hey, that is it for me today, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode. Before you get up out of here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, man. Make sure you drop them comments below and them grades. I need to know, because don't be unfair, bro. Be reasonable. Be reasonable. Don't be out here just being petty and delusional. For real, man. But hey, that is it. Y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.
Cognac. Gang.